Hello everyone, Lawrence from eSocian and welcome to the eSocian TV. Today we will be talking about the 5 most asked questions or topic regarding the CO2 system. Let's go. Okay, question number 1. What is a solenoid and the purpose of a solenoid? Okay, the solenoid is usually attached to the regulator. It's actually this black color part thing that is connected with electricity. So you need an electric plug to use the solenoid. Okay, why do you need to use the electric plug? Is because solenoid actually has help to switch on and switch off your CO2 whenever you want. Then why do you need to switch on and switch off your CO2? It's basically because your plants, they actually don't photosynthesis 24 hours. They need to rest. So during the resting time, they do not need the CO2. So we will switch off the CO2 to sort of save some CO2 in your tank. But the most crucial reason is because when your CO2 is pumping into the tank when your plant is resting, there will be too much CO2 inside. You will accumulate too much CO2 in the tank. So actually it will sort of affects the breathing of your fishes and your beneficial bacteria. So when times accumulate, right, your water quality will actually be affected. Same for your fish health. Okay, question 2. What is a CO2 diffuser and do I need a CO2 diffuser? Okay, CO2 diffuser is a very small device that we put in the tank to help you to dissolve and diffuse the CO2 into the water effectively. Without the CO2 diffuser, it will be very hard for you to dissolve the CO2 in the tank. It's basically the same as not having a CO2 system. So the CO2 diffuser, it actually comes in two kinds. One is the inline and one is the in-tank. For the inline, usually we have to use a canister filter to complement with it. Without an external canister filter, you can't actually use it. So the commonly used one would be the in-tank, this one, that we put it in the tank. So it looks like this. It's very easy to install. You just have to use a hose, a pipe, connect it to the diffuser and put it in the tank. Then you are done with the installation. So this is how easy it is. Usually we recommend it. We use it in our shop most of the time. Yeah. Then for the position of the diffuser, we will like it to put it at the opposite side of your water flow. So let's say if your water flow is flowing through here, from the tank, the water flow is here. Usually we'll put it at the opposite side, which is this part at the bottom of the tank. This way it will help to make sure that the bubbles doesn't just floats to the top. It actually moves the bubbles over to the other side, because the water flow is this way and it actually turns back. So this will help to make sure that the bubbles stay in the water for as long as possible. This way it will help to increase the diffusion of the CO2. Okay, question number 3. What is a CO2 checker and do I need a CO2 checker? Okay, a CO2 checker is basically a small device that we put in the tank so as to measure how much CO2 is in your tank. So why do you need to measure your CO2? It's because if you do not know how much CO2 is in your tank, it might be very difficult for you to grow your plants, or it might intoxicate your fish. Basically, it's like if you have 2 liters CO2, your plants do not grow as well. If you have too much CO2, it will intoxicate your fish. So how to use a CO2 checker? Okay, opening up in the CO2 checker, there will be 2 components. One is the CO2 checker itself. This is the device that we put in the tank. Then there is this test region that usually comes when you buy. So what we have to do is to get the test region to put inside the CO2 checker. So let me show you. So what you have to do is to put in the CO2 liquid first. We'll add in about this much, about 1/4 of the level. So then you have to do a bit of flicking to make sure that the CO2 is inside. Okay, as you can see here, right, the CO2 is inside. Usually you will want about half, so this is not enough. Usually we'll add in more. Okay, you can see this is about there. Initially it will be blue color. Blue color just means that there is not enough CO2. But when you put in the tank, the colors will gradually change according to how much CO2 is in your tank. Blue color is 2 liter. Then there's green color, which is just nice, and yellow will be too much. But to be more specific, for the green color, we will want it to be light green, which is will be the best optimum CO2 to be in your tank. So then the position to put in the tank for your CO2 checker would be, if you can see over here, this is the CO2 diffuser. We will want to put it at the opposite side. So if this is on the right side, left side, we will put it on the right side. Okay, we will put it on the top of the other side. So because now there is no water, so it's very hard. Let me take some water in. Okay, so we put it on the other side. Then for one more thing is CO2 checker has to be in the water to make sure to make it work. So this will be in the water. If your water is below it, it will not work. Okay. Question number 4. Difference between aluminium and an alloy steel CO2 cylinder. Okay, this is an alloy steel cylinder and this is an aluminum cylinder. The main difference is just the weight. Usually the aluminum, it will be lighter, usually about 30 to 40% lighter than the alloy steel version. And one of the difference would be also that the alloy steel, they might rust if not cared properly. This is all the main difference between the alloy steel and the aluminum cylinder. But what I really want to say is the position and where you put the cylinder in your house. So for the cylinder, usually we want to put it upright. We do not want to put it laying down on the floor. It might roll here and there. So what we just want to put it upright. Okay, and also in your house, put it at somewhere where it is cool, where there is no sunlight. Just try to avoid any sunlight and any hot places. This will help to maintain the CO2 in a better condition. Question number 5. How much CO2 to add in your aquarium? Okay, to know how much CO2 is going into a tank, right, usually we will need the bubble counter. Bubble counter usually comes when you buy with the regulator. So let me show you how to use the bubble counter now. Okay, the bubble counter is for you to check how much CO2 is going into your tank. So what we really want is 1 bubble per second for every 30 liters of water. So how to count 1 bubble per second is by tuning this part. This is the bubble counter. By tuning this is where you tune the the CO2 out. Tune it 1 bubble per second. So it's roughly like this. This is about 1 bubbles per second. It's as simple as that only. So this is for 30 liters water. But if you are having a very big tank, like a 3-feet tank, which is about 180 liters tank, 180 liters will be 6 bubbles per second. So 6 bubbles per second sometimes is very hard for you to count. So what we usually do over at our shop, right, is to use a handphone, use a phone, get it to the slow motion function, then take a 5-second video of your bubble counter, then just look through it. Using the slow motion, you will be able to see how much bubble is going into your tank every second. This is the simplest way we find out that you can use. You can try using it also. Okay, this has come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. We will be trying to come up with more of this kind of video. If you have any interesting topic or anything you want to ask, do comment below for us to see. And then please don't forget to like us, share us, and also please subscribe to us. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.